Hello and welcome back to the second series of the night, players and fans of minor league esports. This is your stream brought to you by APM Music. It's going to be a fantastic one tonight. We just had Academy League 2s, and we step it up on Tuesday night to Champions League between the Aviators and the Hawks. My name is Pandy, and with me tonight is none other than Pikachu.
Hello, it's me, Pikachu, your friendly neighborhood Pikachu.
It's going to be a great one tonight. The Hawks and Aviators coming in tonight at 5-5 for the Aviators, 3-7 for the Hawks, looking to get back into the swing of things. Fortunately, their records don't really reflect how much success they've had this season, but both these teams, Pikachu, are going to be really skilled tonight. It's going to be a big test for both teams.
Yeah, and I think the biggest stat to highlight here is the amount of shots that each team takes per game. 8.3 shots to 7.7 from the Aviators to the Hawks. But the bigger thing, I think, is going to be the shots allowed per game. Both of them hitting just above 8 shots per game. Not as many saves, though. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see a high-scoring series here?
That's always fun to watch. A lot of goals are definitely a fun to watch, but at the same time, defensive wars are also extremely fun. So both teams definitely looking to kind of get their defense back into the swing of things. As we said, Hawks are at 5-5, I believe, or Aviators at 5-5, excuse me. Hawks at 3-7. So it's going to be definitely a test, like we said, for both teams. But this is a big one for these guys. It is week 3, so pretty early. This is the last week for the divisional matchups again for these teams. But again, we're going to start out Aviators and Hawks. This is going to be a very fun game to watch as Game 1 now begins.
Oh, and this is exciting. First kickoff of the night for me, and Austin's going to take it to the corner. Fear's going to hit that one off back, and Chaser's going to a shot on net. And that's what I was talking about when I said more shots for the Aviators. And
yeah, that's a big goal there, Chaser, off the kickoff. Twos is very tough. So kickoffs are definitely very prominent, going to be prominent for both teams. That's a great read by Chaser out of the corner. Good start for the Aviators.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Hawks, you really just want to settle things down. Game 1 always kind of a feeler game, and Chaser again, the same spot, finds the back of the net. 2-0 with 15 seconds gone. They're on pace for, I think, the math fixed out like 40 goals? Somewhere around there.
Unfortunately for them, I don't see that happening, but Chaser, that's a great start there. Austin facilitating both of those goals with fantastic kickoffs. Make it again. That pass once again back to Chaser. So the Aviators are going to start with 2 goals in 15 seconds. If you're the Hawks, you're just looking for a way to stop the kickoffs. You know Austin has a fantastic kickoff, as that's going to be Stas and Fears representing the Hawks, but we didn't really have a chance to get these guys introduced because of how quick the Aviators scored. Here's another chance from Austin, the open net, but Fears is able to get back and cover it up.
Yeah, and that's a great save coming out from Fears. But another shot on, and it bounces off of both posts. Austin can't put it in. Chaser can't even put it in. The net playing defense for the Hawks. And Stas not going to bring it back out on a fast break opportunity. And he's not going to get the shot on net. Going to bring it into the corner for Fears. Fears off the sidewall. He's just flip. Try to get a 50 off of Austin, but Austin clears it back out. Now Stas is up for it. Off the sidewall. Yeah.
That was such a close chance. I got to bring that up from the Aviators. I think the Hawks really just need to pick up the post off of waiver wire next week, because that really saved them there. Could have been a couple chances at a goal, but I mean, something we've kind of been saying, a stat that you brought up, is that the Hawks and the Aviators are definitely very offensive heavy. So this game has been very, very prominent as far as pressure goes thus far. But it seems like the Aviators just one step ahead so far. But here you go, fierce counterattack for the Hawks is going to have a chance here, but Stas following just a bit closely. He's going to give it back to the hands of Austin. Once again, Aviators are back on the offensive.
Yeah, and I think the big stat to actually realize here is when you look at the amount of shots that these teams take comparative to the amount of goals that they score, it's not a lot. So you're getting 9 shots usually per game for each of these teams, but they're only averaging about 2 goals per game. So a lot of offensive pressure for both of the teams, but not a lot of scoring, as we saw from the Aviators siding off of all of the posts.
Wow. What a save there from Austin, as that's a really uncomfortable spot to be in. Austin once again trying to make some plays happen, give Chaser the ball, as he saw 2 goals there in about 15 seconds there from Chaser, but that's going to be a dangerous touch from Fears. Austin there to scoop it up and score. Aviators score 3 goals.
And that's a really nice shot from Austin. Great awareness to see it was coming out right off of Fears' car and just slots it in the net. 3-0 now for the Aviators with about half the game left to go.
That's a great job there by Chaser, recognizing that that defender was not going to necessarily get a great touch if he forced it straight onto his car there on the side wall. But once again, the Aviators definitely applying as much pressure as they would have liked to. But I definitely want to see some demos, so maybe some physical play coming out from Stas and Fears, because right now there's nothing really stopping this Aviators team. You're seeing them force every 50 they want, be in every position they want, but that big demo from Stas is going to clear up some pressure and give them a chance to get some life.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to notice is that the Aviators have really been controlling that midfield possession. When you look at the entire game as a whole, they've just been kind of hanging out in the midfield, taking their time with the ball. The Hawks are kind of just booming it towards the backboard, hoping it to drop down, but the Aviators, like you said, are just one step ahead this game, and the Hawks can't figure out how to get it past them.
Fears, that's a good touch there off the bat. The base wall is going to have a good read. Stas just can't find it. You see Fears with the disruption on Chaser in net, and the Hawks finally are going to get one on the board.
Yeah, and that's the exact thing they need to do, is they need to figure out a way to get to that last defender, bump, demo, whatever you need to do, and it's going to clear up some space for them to put the ball in the net. 2-goal game with about 2 minutes to go now.
That's a great eye there, representing, or from the Hawks, recognizing rather that Chaser was going to be awkward on that touch in net, so trying to disrupt his rotation in the goal was a key factor to lead that led to that goal ultimately. But big 50 there from Stas. Austin has plenty of room to work with to get back, but Stas once again getting physical. That's a huge 50 on Chaser in net. Plenty of room to work with, and Stas creating the plays from nothing is going to get the Hawks back within one.
And that's a great 50 from Stas off of the top of Chaser, just to wait out the play and just get a nice 50 off the car. No one even back to even challenge him on that play. Now we have a 1-goal game, and it looks like the Hawks are going to be back in it.
Yeah, just as we thought that the Aviators would be running away with the game, the Hawks are right back in it. Stas stepping up, getting some demos, getting physical, and forcing some really good 50s as Austin trying to punish the backboard. Is that something we touched on last series about how these players really struggle to read the backboard, but it seems like the Hawks defense is doing just that. But unfortunately for Austin, Chaser wasn't quite ready for it midfield, and Fears just trying to burn Austin straight in the net now, as that's going to be a dangerous 50. But once again, Chaser, good second man rotation there for the Aviators defense to get this thing out of the net.
Yeah, now a lot of offensive pressure coming from the Hawks. They know it's the last minute here. They got to make a push, get that third goal, maybe send us to a game 1 overtime. And now Chaser up on the wall for it. He's going to bring it down mid, looking for that backboard read, but Fears is right there off the top of Stas. Now Fears going to jump for it. 45 seconds left. Off of the corner. Stas going to catch that one. He gets bumped out by Austin. And now it's going to carry back up the field. And the Aviators just trying to burn clock off at this point. 30 seconds left to go, and it's still a 1-goal game.
Aviators have to be careful because the Hawks are definitely really strong in their counterattack business. As you see there, Chaser just trying to just keep away from this Hawks defense, because he knows that the Hawks are really good once they get the ball headed back the other way. But here's Fears trying to look for a late goal here. And Austin, great pressure control there for the Aviators. Big 50 from Stas midfield, trying to find another one, but that's a huge 50. He's going to give Stas a chance, but Austin looking to control the touch, but big midfield pass to Fears, trying to find it, but Austin comes up huge. That ball is not going to be anywhere close to the goal, and Aviators hang on, take game 1.
And I think that's a great pressure, though, from the Hawks at the end of that game. Great win for the Aviators, but the Hawks are starting to kind of figure out where they need to go on these 50s to get past the Aviators defense. Just go low 50 and you'll get past these flying planes.
Yeah, I love the pun there, but the Hawks flew just a bit higher than the Aviators did in that game, as someone just make me stop with the puns. But definitely great job by the Aviators, able to hang on there. But that's a little bit concerning to me, to be completely honest with you, Pikachu. You saw them with 3 goals in the first minute and a half. The Hawks didn't give up another goal after that. Just were so close. They were knocking on the door that entire last half of that game, as the Aviators didn't really see much pressure towards the last half of that game. It was really all Hawks. So I definitely am curious to see how the Hawks can continue that pressure into the next game, as they did a fantastic job, as we say, in twos. Kickoffs are so important, but at the same time, the kickoffs are really detrimental to the mental. I say that mental twice in 2 words, but the mental is really hurt by kickoffs, especially in twos, because kickoffs can happen at any time. Kickoff goals can happen at any time, rather. So that's a great job by the Hawks, kind of not letting that get to them. It's so easy to say, hey, they just scored 2 goals in 15 seconds. And it's just, you let the mental keep getting worse and worse, but that's a great job. Stas and Fears stepping up, making the plays happen, and not letting the Aviators continue to punish them on kickoffs.
And I think the biggest thing to note for the Aviators is that like the offensive pressure they had at the beginning of the game, it was more so because they were being patient towards their offensive plays. They weren't letting the the Hawks get set up. And being that patient-minded, it's what allowed them to score so early. And Chaser with a whiff on the first shot of the game, Nestot's going to bring it back up, but as I was saying, it's just a patient game. If you can wait out your opponent, and it's a big booming clear from Austin, going to find its way just on top of Stas's car, and now we see a little bit of slower play from the Aviators coming out in this game number 2.
Yeah, that's a great recognition there from Stas as he was pushed up a bit too far. The Aviators offense saw that. They were like, hey, this ball's in our half. We see the last Hawks defender pushing up just a bit too far, so I'm going to try and burn him. But Stas read it way earlier than they did and turned back and made the save early. But it's going to be a 2-on-1 now for the Hawks, headed back the other way after some pressure in their own backboard, in their own corner. But Stas is just going to leave this one for Fears, but a slow rotation is going to turn it back to the hands of Chaser. It's going to be a 2v1. This huge bump is going to be just enough to get Stas off the ball. Stas almost got back as Austin was a bit slow, but Austin does just enough to get it in the net.
Yeah, and I think Chaser got a secondary bump on Stas going towards the net again. Just a little bit of a little tap on his head just to get him out of the way. And that's the type of stuff we were seeing the Hawks do last game. Let's see, the Aviators are starting to pick up on it.
Yeah, the Aviators definitely playing with a bit more intelligence as of right now. It seems like that's kind of what they rely on, is trying to just outplay their opponent as far as the game sense goes. But it seems like Stas and Fears are looking to get physical here. As that's a dangerous touchdown midfield. It seems like Chaser just can't find it backboard. Fears was ready for the mistake, and punishing them is just what he does. The Hawks tie it up.
And I think, so here's the thing, is that the backboard read is what we've been talking about, what you guys were talking about last series as well. That backboard miss from the defender just allowed the Hawks to get set up and get ready for that power shot on the goal line. And that's what we're going to see here, is just backboard reads aren't coming to these guys as easily. And another fake backboard read from Fears allows Stas to put it in the back of the net, 2-1 Hawks.
That's something that players overlook, as we have been talking about it this entire time, this entire stream, is the backboard is so important. It makes the defenders in the net very awkward. That's a fantastic read there from Stas to just slam it in the bottom of the net. Perfect placement, as Austin was awkward in the goal, but the Hawks kind of bouncing back after that first goal. Stas looking to continue to punish, but Austin stays patient there in the goal. That's a fantastic save.
Yeah, that was a great save out for the Aviators. And now they're coming back down the field. 50 out from Chaser, looking for a pass out middle, but he doesn't quite get the touch he needs on it. Now Demo comes out. Demo's Austin. But Chaser's going to do this one all by himself. He gets past both defenders, puts in the back of the net. Tie game.
That was a great job by Austin there, just kind of baiting out the defender, forcing a Demo, trying to get the Hawks defenders to focus on him. Chaser was just kind of waiting for that ball to drop down, and Austin seemed like he was the more dominant figure there in that play. So the Hawks were focused on Austin. Chaser kind of behind the scenes, just able to slam one in and get this game tied. But that was a fantastic chance again by the Aviators there off the kickoff. It seems like the Aviators are definitely controlling the kickoffs, and especially the mid boost after the kickoff. It seems like after every chance after a goal, after every kickoff, it seems like the Aviators are always on attack.
Yeah, and the Aviators do have a great kickoff strategy. They have Austin, who we already talked about, is great on those kickoffs, and they're controlling those mid-boost spawns. And if you can't get the mid-boost off of the cheat, if you're the Hawks, then you're just kind of left with nothing. You're going to go to the back corner and basically give up possession to the other team. And now Austin's going to bring this one back up, give it over to Chaser. That's a great pass off the backboard. Is he going to find it? No backboard read again. And now Austin's going to pick this one back up in the midfield. Tries to get it past Fears, but he's going to 50 it over the sidewall. Chaser's ready for that one. A pass down to Austin. Off of the crossbar. And it's just bouncing. Oh, that was a great shot by Austin. Almost Athena'd it, but it just happened to find its way in. Bouncing there probably 5 times before it found its way in. That's a great shot from Austin.
What a play there from the Aviators. Exclamation point POTW, the pass from Chaser and the reception there from Austin. That could be play of the week caliber, brought to you by Balls Garana. Get them a case because that play was beautiful. The Aviators take their first lead of the game despite that first goal. But Chaser here off the kickoff once again. The Hawks, it seems like they started to adjust to it just a little bit, but the bump is going to give Fears and the Hawks their first offensive possession here in just a couple minutes. But zero boost. Fears is going to be forced to go back. Chaser burns the last defender. It's going to be an open chance on net. A good bounce for Austin, and he'll just punish. 4 goals for the Aviators.
And if you're the Hawks, you got to realize when you're the last defender, especially in twos, there's no real, I can't say real excuse for that. Austin just open net, no way for Fierce to get back. Didn't have much boost in the tank, and now it's 4-2 for the Aviators, finding control in this game number 2.
Yeah, it's a big job there for if you're the first man with that ball. The Hawks are on offense. You don't have any boost. Your best bet there is just to force a 50. Yeah, there's nothing that the defender can do other than having to challenge you. Otherwise, they're just going to let you walk it straight back in the net. So rather than just kind of letting the ball roll off of your car, you got to force the 50 there. You can't just turn it straight over and just go back and get boost, because you know these Aviators are really fast. You know that they're going to punish you for mistakes. That's a huge 50. Gonna set it up for Stas, wide open in net. Despite what I was saying, the Hawks are right back in it. That's a great play.
That is a great play. Fear's getting the nice 50 off of Austin, a nice pass out to Stas, and no one in the backfield for the Aviators. Now, another close game on our hands going into the last minute of play.
Yeah, definitely the Hawks are just continuing to inch closer to this Aviator squad, but they're seemingly just once again a step ahead. Another kickoff in the favor of the Aviators, but unfortunate miss from Chaser there on the back end. A little miscommunication from the Hawks there. Stas tries to get that one done. Austin, huge demo is going to relieve some pressure as it's going to force Fears to make a back rotation now, but Chaser headed up the left wall, trying to play it into Austin, but Fears once again, that's a huge 50. And now Austin just kind of back on his backboard, just looking to kill some time, as he knows that the Hawks don't really play high in the air as much as the Aviators do. So taking advantage of that. The statistic there is Austin's just going to continue to kill some time. He's effectively burned about 20 seconds here in his own backboard without any threat from the Hawks.
Yeah, and that's a great recognition from Austin, just realizing, okay, we have the lead. We don't really have to do much with it. Just got to keep it away from these guys for another minute or so. And a great save coming out from Chaser clears that one all the way back down the field. And now the Hawks have 20 seconds left and see if they can tie this game up. And that's a great shot from Stas on net. Austin with a great save. We're going through to about 10 seconds. Austin 50'd out by Fears. Chaser going to put that one on net, and it's going to find its way in 5-3, and it doesn't look like the Hawks are going to be able to take this game number 2.
We saw a great chance there from the Hawks in the offensive end. Unfortunately, it seemed like Fears was just pushed up a bit too far, and the bounce off the backboard was a bit harder than he expected, but it's forced him out. Austin had an easy scoop, easy pass there to Chaser, and great job getting that done. And it seems like the little mistakes like that, little overcommits as second man, overextensions as first man, it's just the key to success here. Then the Aviators definitely taking advantage of that. The Hawks, unfortunately, just can't find the answer quite yet. And I think it's staring them right in the face. Cheating up just a bit too far as second man, overcommitting as first man sometimes. It's definitely the key to success for them moving on. And I think they're going to take this next minute or so and just try and figure some things out.
Yeah, and I think realistically, if you're the Hawks, you're not doing anything wrong particularly. It's just the Aviators have a better strategy coming off of the kickoffs. And if you're coming off of a kickoff and you're down 4-3 with a minute left, you know you're not going to beat them to the kickoff. Austin has a great kickoff. Chaser does too. And they're balancing out on that mid boost, and they have great midfield play. We saw them pass and play as well. We're seeing that a lot more because it's higher level play in CL. But if you're the Hawks, you've got to find a way to defend that and have less miscommunications. We saw a couple bumps by the Hawks teammates when we were watching that game number 2. You got to stop those if you want to have any chance at the reverse sweep. Yeah, I just cast or cursed it, but I'm going to say it anyway. The reverse sweep is now imminent for the Hawks. They need it to stay in this series.
Yeah, that's a big game for the Aviators, as they kind of hang on there. You mentioned some mistakes the Hawks are making, and I wouldn't definitely count out the Aviators as far as mistakes go. We've seen them kind of bump each other, maybe playing a bit too aggressive, and it's just up to the Hawks to make them pay for it. It seems like the Aviators, luckily for them, are doing it in positions that aren't too dangerous, but it's up to the Hawks to make those positions dangerous. It's up to them to turn those offensive mistakes in the Aviators into a counterattack. It's up to them to take pressure and turn it into goals on the other side of the field. So we definitely have seen that a few times. The Aviators seems like they're just a bit more successful with punishing mistakes, but I have no doubt that the Hawks are still in this thing. Without a doubt, both these games are still very close. But again, there's another prominent kickoff there from the Aviators just to get this game 3 started. Now Austin just kind of looking for one on the backboard again to punish. The defenders couldn't read it, and Austin starting the scoring 9 seconds in.
Yeah, and I think that the big thing is No one taking that back right boost for the Hawks. Leaves it wide open for Austin to just take. Has a full tank going towards the net. Easy goal for him, easy money because he doesn't have to worry about anyone taking boost from him.
Yeah, it seems like the Aviators on these kickoffs specifically are just starting to build a wall around themselves, and it seems like the Hawks are definitely really struggling to break through that barrier. But that was just yet another chance. Austin wanting to facilitate some plays here, but the Hawks once again just getting this clear out of their own end. There's a bump from Stas getting physical there. So that's the key to success. Here's Austin just barely making that touch there to the corner, controlled touch. But luckily for Austin, nobody from the Hawks there was there to scoop it up off the rotation. It seems like the Hawks definitely are playing a bit further back this game, and I think that's going to be one thing that the Aviators with 1000% take advantage of.
Yeah, and if you're the Hawks, you gotta press a little bit more on defense. Someone's gonna challenge early because they have the great setup when they take the midfield boost, and they take your back boost as well. And Stas gonna try to take advantage of a little bit of a misplay by Austin, but he's gonna catch it, and Stas gonna take it back up the wall. Chaser gonna bring that one up the wall, follow it down. Now Fears with a great 50 into the corner, but no one's there to read it but Austin. And now Austin gonna take it up the wall, looking for a little bit of a style play, but Stas is gonna be there to read it. And now Fears gonna bring this one back out. And a little bit of midfield possession, I think, would help both teams here. We're not seeing too much slow play. Like a bump demo play, I think would really benefit the Hawks if they could get something started in the midfield.
It's a lot of boom ball right now as we see Fears there just trying to snipe a shot backdoor and Chaser, but Chaser once again great coverage on that one. There's the crossfield pass looking for Fears, as this was going to be a dangerous possession for the Aviators on defense, but Fears without boost is going to be forced back, but picks up the corner boost, trying to get a solo play going, but Chaser, a little bit of a jump scare there for viewers as that one was right back in Fears' camera. But once again, Chaser there just trying to make some plays happen on offense. Now Hawks with the counterattack, but that slow rotation. See, nobody was on that ball, Pikachu. That's one thing that's been really killing them thus far, is that the Aviators are super fast. There has to be a Hawks player on the ball at all times. But as we say that, here's Fears, 1v1 50 chance, but Austin once again comes up clutch. Huge 50 in front of their goal.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The Aviators just have cleaner rotations, tighter rotations than the Hawks do. The Hawks seem to be having a little bit of trouble knowing who's back and who's supposed to be up front, because when we get into that offensive defensive zone for the Hawks, you never really know who's supposed to be going for the ball. It should be easy to be able to tell who's supposed to be on ball. But there's Austin with a great flick over one, and Austin going to find the back of the net, 2-0 Aviators. And it's another thing, see here, it's Stas goes for the ball, no one in the back post because Fears is rotating back. He has to challenge that a little bit sooner because the Aviators are just too fast.
Yeah, you saw Stas, like you said, in the corner there. He was a bit slow out of the boost. It gave way too much time for Austin to get up the wall, force the ball midfield, get off the wall, and get on the ball and make a shot on net. That's exactly what happened. It seems like, again, this is kind of like the story that has been going along this entire series, is that the Hawks are just too slow in their corners, leaving way too much time, giving too much space for the Aviators to make a possession when they want to on the ball. There's another example of it. Unfortunately, I think that was due to the fact that Fears didn't have any boost to work with. But again, there's Austin. That's going to be a huge 50 threatening on goal, but Stas is going to be able to get back, cover this one up. The double miss coming out there on the wall as Austin back on the offensive for the Aviators, but a huge back clear for Stas is going to open up the net for Fears, and Fears is going to take advantage of it. He's going to cut the lead in half, and the Hawks are right back in it.
Yeah, the Hawks getting back in it, this is really what they needed with a minute and a half to go. The big thing I'm noticing is we've been talking about how the Hawks have been slower on rotations. I think it's more so because the Aviators have been starving them of their boost. They've had to be conserving their boost like a lot more than the Aviators have. The Aviators just have a lot more boost to work with because they're starving out of the Hawks defense. And when you do that, you're going to have a slower rotation game, and that's why it looks like the Aviators have a better chance of getting to the ball right now.
Yeah, it seems like the Hawks now are just starting to gain a possession here. Stas 1v1 chance, but Chaser once again read it earlier. So we saw just off the kickoff there after the first Hawks goal is that it seems like the Hawks actually made a good adjustment there on the kickoff. They were able to force it back straight into the second man's hands, and they had a quick offensive possession. So I think we're seeing some improvement there from them on that front. But that one's going to be threatening Chaser. forced an uncomfortable save now, but that's a good bounce for Chaser. It's going to be 1v1 chance. Fears just can't quite get back to the demo. As speaking of demo, Stas has been deleted from the gameplay, as it seems like the Aviators once again are just back on that clock control game. Austin looking to just continue to play keep away, and the Aviators still in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and the same thing with a 1-goal game with about 30 seconds to go. If you're the Aviators, all you're going to do is you're going to look for cracks in the armor, kind of keep it on your own possession, and if you can, put a shot on net, but you don't really want to give away possession at this point in the game. And Stas with a great shot to beat both defenders, and now we're tied up with 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, that's a tough miss in the net there from Austin, as that shot was definitely not one that is easy to save. As the nice bounce shot there from Stas is always really tough to read in a position that Austin was in. So great job recognizing from Stas, getting this game evened up with 20 seconds to go.
Oh, and a nice shot on from Fears off the post. Chaser gonna get that one, and it looks like 10 seconds to go, unless the Aviators can do something about it. Chaser with a little bit of bounce over to Fears, and with about 3 seconds to go, let's see if the Aviators can do something at all. And a shot off, still up off, and overtime, game number 3.
We had a nice chance there from the Aviators. They had a couple offensive possession chances there in the Hawks defense. As Fierce is going to try and dump one here in overtime. Game 3, the Aviators on series point now, looking to continue this one, but we do play all 5 here. But Chaser, quick on that ball, is going to try and play it to the corner, but Fierce with the interception in his own corner. You see Stoster going for a demo, and successful on Austin, as he's able just to escape out of the grasp of the Hawks offense. But once again, this clearing touches from the Aviators are coming in handy without a doubt. Now Austin looking to try and read the backboard, but he doesn't have any boost, being forced back off. Now Stas off the wall looking for Fears. It's going to be a 1v1 chance, but Austin, it's going to be an awkward 50 straight back into the Hawks end. But that bump from Chaser is going to actually bite him, as Fears has a very competent touch there into the wall, as Austin's just going to try and reset and get the Aviators back on offense.
Yeah, that's a great bump coming out from Austin.
Ooh.
Clears up the backfield for the Hawks, and now Chaser going to try to put this one in front of the net. Austin looking for the shot. It's a great save out from Stas. No fast break opportunity though, as Chaser's going to keep an eye on it. Now a 50 into the midfield. Fear is going to take this one up ball. No boost though. Austin's going to look to make the save, and it's a great save on the goal line to save the game for the Aviators. Chaser going to clear this one right back out. Fears going to take this one again with no boost in the tank, and Austin clears it out straight to Stas, puts it on the post and back out of the net, looking for that shot to kill the game, but he couldn't find it.
Both teams have seen game-winning chances in this game so far. Fears there's another one for the Aviators. Stas is going to have to swoop back and make a save. Both teams, like I said, have had a chance to win this game. Wide open chances. It was Chaser earlier, and now I believe that was Fears on the chance. But here, again, just trying to get it back. But Stas is going to have to make a quick back rotation to get this one back in the hands of the Hawks. Will do just that. Now Fears, quick rotation up. It's going to be Austin trying to look for a bump. But Chaser unfortunately misses that ball, but that one's going to be wide open for Chaser, but he misses the open net on the post again. This game will continue to play on, as that's 3 misses on open nets from both teams. We continue to move forward. Chaser backboard read chance just goes past it, as the Aviators just cannot find the net here, and the Hawks just continue to play forward.
I'm being punked right now, right? That did not just happen. He did not dismiss the open net of a century. We're halfway through an actual game in overtime, 2 minutes and a half just about. So I was going to put that one back in the corner. Now Austin going to challenge that one, doesn't grab it, but now Chaser up the wall, looking for maybe a shot. It passes back out. Now Austin going to put that one right back into the midfield. Furious is going to shadow it. Much to his dismay, is Austin beats both defenders to clinch this series for the Aviators in an overtime that I think both teams would maybe want to forget about.
Yeah, that's not one you want to look back on and say, hey, that we played well in that overtime. Both teams definitely very sloppy there. That's a really tough miss from Stas, and then I believe that was Stas. Sorry if that wasn't you, but that was so many chances from both teams there, as the Hawks had 13 shots, and it's just up to the Aviators. Great job keeping the ball out of the net as much as they could, but Chaser would have been kicking himself if they would have lost that game, as he had 3 open nets, 2 slow rollers across field into the goal that he missed. But Aviators are just able to hang on. The miss in net is really tough for the Hawks, because they had some chances as well there in overtime, but still The Hawks made it a very close game at the end, tied it up, and Aviators once again just kind of got it done there. They were able to hang on, make some really important saves at clutch times, and they clinched the series.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Hawks now, you're just kind of playing for keys, playing for those 1 or 2 games that could matter down the line if you're trying to make playoffs, because every game actually matters. But I think when I looked at the stats earlier and I saw that these teams had so many shots with not as many goals, I think I realized what it was. I think the post actually took a lot of the saves off of both teams, because both of these teams seem to be hitting it off of the post, off of the backboard, whatever they can, and it just doesn't go in the net. I think if you play it slower, maybe sometimes it does, but otherwise, these teams just kind of seem to be struggling to put it in the back of the net sometimes.
Yeah, and that's kind of the statistic, like you said, earlier this series, is that both teams like to put on a lot of pressure. They put on a lot of shots on net, and to me, it seems like that statistic still holds true. They put on a lot of shots, but they can't necessarily find a lot of goals. And that was the case last game. We saw 13 shots from the Hawks, only 2 goals. So that's definitely a very rough statistic to look at. But the Hawks, once again, still knocking on the door. All 3 games have been close so far. That last one going to overtime, unfortunately, for the Hawks didn't go their way. But here's a chance off the kickoff. Austin getting physical, able to slow down the Hawks offense now. But here's a good 50, comfortable 50 for Fears on offense. But huge booming clear for Austin is going to diffuse some pressure.
Yeah, that's a great clear out from Austin. Now Chaser going to bring this one up, looking for a pass out mid, but Fears is there to cut it off, and now Stas going to have all the time in the world to bring this up the field with Austin breathing down his neck, and Chaser with a great 50 in the corner. Fears going to try to put that one on, but Austin's there to get a 50 back out of the net. Now Stas looking for a shot is Fears, and he finds that one, just gets it past Austin for the first goal of the series.
That's a nice little quick goal there. Stas kind of dusts the defender there. Chaser just couldn't get it on him. His Fears was quick on that ball as well. That's one thing. Well, that's a nice change we've seen. It seems like every touch that the Hawks makes, it seems like the next man is far back, and it just falls right back in the hands of the Aviators. So that's a nice change. That's a great goal there from the Hawks. A good momentum change, especially after dropping that last game, and the Hawks are going to score first.
Yeah, and it's a great pressure from the Hawks as well. It seems like they've kind of evened out those boost totals that we were talking about. Kind of seems like the rotations are getting a little bit faster. They're able to pick up pads more, getting those 100 boosts just before the Aviators are. And now it seems like the Aviators are playing a little bit slower to rotation. Now Stas going to put that one off the backboard, looking for a double, doesn't quite get it. And now both of the Hawks players are in the upfield. Austin with a pass over the Chaser. That one's going to find the back of the net. A nice little scuffed up pass and play if you're the Aviators. Play of the week material, don't you think?
Possibly, but that's great communication there from Chaser. You can just see, hey man, that is wide open for a country mile. You can take as much time as you want. Also, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna throw this to you and you take the goal. But yeah, that's great communication. As you can tell that was communicated very early that there was no defender back. I'd be interested to see what happened there. It seems like the Hawks were definitely having their entire offense as far as they could into the Aviators defense. So we'll definitely hope to see that not happen again if you're the Hawks. But great job by the Aviators to tie this thing up.
And now Fears going to look to put that one on net. Now Chaser going to try to clear it back out. Stas put your shot back on. That's a great shot.
Wow.
Fears going to be there. And Austin did all he could with that one, but that was a great shot from Stas off of the corner to put that one on target. And Austin just couldn't find the save to get it away from Fears.
That's one thing I've been saying this entire season so far is uncomfortable shots, forcing uncomfortable saves and possessions. That shot and that pass from Stas was beautiful. That shot was actually going in if that wasn't saved from Austin in the net. So that forced Austin to make a really uncomfortable save and completely left the net wide open for Fears to get the goal. But once again, the Hawks are back to work with a lead now. 2.5 minutes still to work with, as we have not even halfway through this game so far. But the Hawks with their own possession in their own half. It's going to be Stas getting it past one. Now Austin is going to shadow defend this one, but it seems like he forced Stas into a flick there. That's a great possession there from Austin. This Chaser's going to be forced to make a save. The double tap is going to be favorable for this Aviators offense to head back the other way, but Stas just trying to clear it past Fears. But the Hawks are just a little discombobulated in their net, but fortunately for them, Chaser just couldn't quite find the net.
Yeah, and this is great pressure from the Aviators. The Hawks, though, doing a little bit of an interesting play, bringing it back towards their own net so that the Aviators couldn't take possession of it. Now, Fears gonna bring this one outfield. Austin gonna push it back out towards the midfield. Now Stas over the wall, and it's a great pinch off of the wall from Austin, but it's gonna be just off target. Now Stas with Chaser challenging him. Austin's pushing back up. Stas going off of the ceiling. Not gonna find that one, but Fears looking for the backboard read. Austin's there to save that one away, and we're looking at a little bit of those mechanics kind of brushing the dust off for these two teams now in game number 4.
Yeah, we had a couple close chances there from the Hawks, and the Aviators stayed calm. They stayed collected in their own half. It's too easy to say, oh my gosh, I don't have much boost. They're really threatening here on this backboard, but they stayed strong as long as they could, and they got the ball out of their own half. But Stas is looking to work this thing back in. Austin forces a 50 there to the wall. Chaser to gain possession, but Fears just a little bit of an overcommit. I didn't think he meant to jump there, but Chaser's going to force it past him. There's one defender back for the Hawks. Austin's going to be looking to receive a pass midfield, but Fears headed back the other way. Zero boost is going to force him to an awkward position. Now Austin looking for Chaser midfield. Stas to take over. He's going to force a Chaser into an awkward position, excuse me. That's a huge save to bring the Aviators back into the offensive zone, but again, the Hawks are continuing to press, and the Aviators are really struggling to get this ball out.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is if you look at the physicality on these plays, the Hawks showing a lot more bump demo plays than the Aviators are, and it's kind of disrupting that flow of play. And now Chaser just locks up the defense, pushes it straight over the head of the defender, and just finds the back of the net. And now it looks like we might have another overtime moving in game number 4.
Still really early to call an overtime, but definitely this game has been probably the closest out of every game we've had so far is overtime definitely looming. But that's a great job by Chaser to recognize that the defender was not close enough to make the touch. But Chaser looking for Austin off the high wall. Austin just can't read it, and this could be a counterattack here for the Hawks. So we're going to see a bump attempt on Chaser. Stas Dust, the last man, as an overcommit from the Aviators offense is going to come back to bite them. Stas read it early.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Aviators, I hate to say it, but in the last minute of play, you don't really generally want to go for a little air dribble pass play and leave your net wide open. That's not really, I don't think that's the play in the last 20 seconds, especially if it's a tie game. But hey, it happened. They're going to roll with it. We have about 15 seconds to see if the Aviators can bring it back to a tie game.
Austin's going to intercept that pass in the midfield. Now Chaser with 9 seconds. So just looking to get his team back in this one. Fierce is not going to have a fantastic shot, but gets a great bump. Then they disrupt that defense. Chaser, that's a good touch, but just rolling away. No player there to scoop it up, and the Hawks will get their first win of the series.
Yeah, and I think the Hawks did a great job that time waiting on the offensive mistakes of the Aviators, and it just shows that they're still in this series, even though they have lost the series. Every game counts, and we could see that come back to bite the Aviators in the playoff race come in weeks' time.
Yeah, and I think the Hawks definitely just kind of recognize that the Aviators, with a 3-0 lead in the series, these guys are starting to play pretty confident. They're going for some very dangerous plays. Dangerous being that their back end may have been a bit open, so they're like, hey, we know that they're going to try and go for these aerial pass plays, and they've been going for at least 1 or 2 every game. So the Hawks there are saying, hey, it's late in the game. We haven't seen them go for it yet. So we know that it's coming at some point, especially at a time that it's going to be clutch for them to score it. So they read, hey, this game, 20 seconds to go. This game's tied. They're probably going to start breaking out those plays here soon. And they predicted it. They read it. Stas did a great job of that, and he was on top of it super quick. And they turned that dangerous play on defense into an offensive goal. And that's ultimately what won them the game.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Hawks, just keep doing the same thing that you're doing. Try to pick up this game number 5 win. Even though you already lost the series, no harm, no foul. You still got a chance here to pick up at least another game on the Aviators in the division race and even playoff race come a couple weeks' time. But I think the Hawks are doing a way better job of managing their boost and also contributing on these kickoffs than they were in game number 1, 2, and 3.
That's definitely a great point. There you go. There's the Aviators kind of just back to work off the kickoff. It's easy to say that, hey, the Hawks won that one, but that was definitely a forced kickoff back to the left corners. Austin's going to look for a tight angle shot. Fierce once again there to cover up every angle that was possible there. So that touch is going to be awkward. Chaser read it really early. So Austin's going to just go right by that ball. Austin looking to play that one to the wall, but Fierce is going to be right on top of it for the Hawks offense. But Chaser again able to help his teammate out who was low on boost. But Chaser, you see Stas was cheating up just a bit too far. Stas is going to be last back for the Hawks. Can he get back just in time? He will do just that. He dodges the demo from Chaser there in the corner.
And now Austin's going to bring it back to his own half, keeping possession here. I like that play. And now Stas going to, for Fears actually, going to get that one in the midfield. Chaser looking for a shot on net off of the post. And Austin going to find that's way in, and just no one around for the Hawks to put that one away.
Yeah, what happened to the Hawks defense there? It seems like with that replay, you didn't see anyone on camera that entire time. It seems like maybe Fears might have gone for some boost on the opposite end of the field, but that's great recognition there from the Aviators offense to see, hey, there's nobody in this net. We're just going to walk this thing right in.
Yeah, and that's another great kickoff from the Aviators, really figuring this team out. And 2-0 with a minute gone. Just great kickoffs, great recognition from Chaser, realizing that he's going to be the first of that ball, and now it's 2-0.
Yeah, that's a tough read there from Stas. That's a fantastic read from Chaser, seeing if he misses this, I've got to be right on top of it because that thing's going to be quick and headed for the post. So Chaser, great job getting onto it quickly, but that kickoff's going to be favorable there for the Hawks. But the last couple of kickoffs have been, once again, straight back into the Aviators' favor, as it has been 2 kickoffs in a row that the Aviators have gained possession and nearly a goal straight away. But that touch, Austin with the touch and the goal, is going to make it 3 for the Aviators.
Now things really heating up for the Aviators.
Oh, he was backwards. Austin.
Oh. And
that's
on top
beautiful.
of that, Stas passes off of the backboard over to Austin for the backwards touch, and just everything that seems to be going wrong for the Hawks just is going wrong now. And with about 2 minutes or so almost gone here, we need to see an answer from them if they want to try and stay in this game.
And here's your answer coming up, but Fears again just can't get it past Austin. Stas once again can't get it past Austin. So Austin is getting very confident here in this game. Chaser looking to fake that one, but Stas is not done yet. Now Fears, it's the touch past Austin. It's going to be Chaser just back there for the Aviators, but Fears sends it over the backboard. Stas there to follow it up. Chaser's awkward in net. Can Fears get a touch? He will not get it past Chaser. Once again, the Hawks just cannot capitalize on this the Aviators' defensive mistakes, but once again, that's credit to Chaser for getting back into position as quickly as possible and getting a counterattack going.
Yeah, and that's a great play. Now Austin gonna look to bring this one up the field. Catches on his car, looking for a flick opportunity. It's a low 50, leaves it there for Chaser at the top of his car, but it falls off, and that leads to a very poorly timed shot for Chaser. Now Stas gonna carry this one out through the midfield. Chaser's gonna try to be there to challenge it. Now Stas looking to start some offense for this Hawks team in the second half of this game.
Now Austin looking for one. Now Stas is trying to just get it past Chaser. Fears going to be challenged there on his own back front, but Stas is just going to get the touch off. Austin looking for one, just going to float it over the last defender. It's going to be 4 goals for the Aviators and definitely a commanding lead.
And Chaser taking that playmaker medal, and I think if you're Chaser, at this point you're scratching your head, you're just like, I don't know, is the post and crossbar just my best friend at this point? I can't seem to find the back of the net, but I'll take the passes. Assists always help. 4-0 Aviators.
Yeah, the Hawks definitely just kind of scrambling in front of their net there. It's credited to the Aviators forcing really awkward touches as Chaser's going to try and slot one in the bottom post, but nothing doing there, as it seems like the Hawks are just kind of defeated here. It's down 4 goals, 2 minutes to go. Stas just trying to get something back in their favor, but Austin and Chaser are like, hey man, we've won this series, let's just have some fun here. And they're just feeling really confident right now. Unfortunately for the Hawks, nothing seems to really be going their way, and at this point you just kind of want to look into next week and see, watch these replays, kind of think about what worked, what didn't, and see what you can learn.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, yeah, it seems like you haven't given up, but at this point, 4 goals after not really having any offensive pressure,
yeah,
doesn't seem like it's going to fall in favor of the Hawks this time around. And we've already seen multiple times when you get to the last about minute, the Aviators do really well at playing that. I think that really holding on to the ball, but Stas trying to provide some late life for the Hawks as he scores with about 1:15. We might still have a ball game here.
Yeah, I mean, 3 goals in a minute and 15 is nothing. It's nothing crazy. I've seen plenty of crazier things happening, especially last season. I saw a 4-goal comeback in 40 seconds in a game on the mainstream last season. But we've seen some crazy things. But the Aviators are just like, they scored a goal. But I mean, Stoss facilitating that there. I've actually, that was Fears causing the bump there on the defender. That's, again, we've seen the Hawks coming up with some creative plays to get things done. But it just seems like the Aviators just seem to be the more skillful team tonight. But again, I don't see the Hawks going anywhere. We're going to see them back, and we're going to see them successful.
Yeah, and at this point, you don't have to hang your head too low if you're the Hawks. You got a lot more season to go here. You took one game off of these two, and it was a great win in game number 4. However, it's looking here like the Aviators just kind of showing them who's boss, putting this game on away, just putting it on ice. Austin with a great goal, 5-1 with about 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, it's going to be some great momentum for the Aviators moving into the next week, as I can confidently say now that this game is probably going to be a wrap, and it's going to be a 4-1 victory there for the Aviators. But without a doubt, the Hawks definitely showed some promise throughout this entire series. They showed that they can be creative. They showed that they can make plays. They can get physical and disrupt a really strong rotation that is Austin and Chaser. But I mean, that's at the same time, you got to think about Austin and Chaser being that the fact that their rotation was not easily controlled. They did not let many things get to them, and the only thing that I really saw was just uncomfortable touches, good shots, and definitely some demos that were thrown in there as well that forced them into uncomfortable positions. But communication and the great job with great recoveries, able to get back to that one. But as that ball finally drops in Game 5, the Aviators will take the series 4-1.
Yeah, and that's a great series for the Aviators, picking up 4 wins, putting them to, I believe, 9-6 on the season.
Yep, 9-6.
And that pushes them up in their division standings, and they're looking to make a push now, going into these, I believe, interconference week play, and gonna look to do something next week. But I think they did a great job. Hawks, don't hold your heads low. You got a lot more season to go to pick it back up.
Yeah, we're gonna see definitely both teams again in the future, but Guardian Pro Line, got to bring them up with the beautiful jerseys and the merch for MLE. If you want to represent your team, if you want to represent your franchise, !Pro Line in chat is you're going to see some beautiful merch. Go ahead and pick up a jersey, a sweatshirt, a shirt, any sort of thing you can think of. They've got it there. Guardian Pro Line, highest tier quality, some beautiful, I don't have my jersey with me, but beautiful graphics, beautiful art on the jersey. So please go to !Pro Line. You will see the link. Please go to Guardian Pro Line, as they have beautiful quality products there. But again, fantastic series from the Aviators, taking that one 4-1, improving to 9-6. The Hawks will drop just a little bit. But again, fantastic series to watch. Both teams definitely had a growing chance in the entire series, and it's been a great one to have with you here, Pikachu.
Yeah, great to have you too. Number 1 PL picked Candy is great. Love seeing you, man. It's been great to cast with you tonight.
Of course, and that's gonna do it for me in the booth tonight. I think we will see Pikachu for one more game. But coming up next, we have what do we have? We have
the Eclipse and the Lightning coming up. Yeah.
Yes, we have CL2s once again. We'll stay right here in Champions League between the Eclipse and the Lightning. 5 games coming up to you right next.